So in this final video, we're actually going to look at how we can use SQL to query or search across a table or multiple tables and return specific data back. So this is a lot of what people use SQL for. So maybe not so much the actual creation of the table or database itself, but definitely searching across it. So let's go and do this in SQL. So back to create again, and then into query design, and we can close down this table again, and then I'm going to click SQL to go and see the SQL view. So first things first, it has already got for us to start off with this select command, and that is what we want. So let's go and have a crack with this one. So select asterisk, and then I'm going to say from and owner. And I'm going to close that one out. So this particular select query is going to return everything that's in the owner table. So let's just run it. And it returns exactly what I see when I double click on this owner table. And that's what's expected, because that particular wildcard will, here, this little asterisk basically says show me absolutely everything. So that's one way to run a query, but what happens if we wanted to fine tune it, or we didn't want to return everything? So let's change this instead to, let's just show the surname and also the first name from the owner table. So let's run this one. And so now we can see it is returning every record. So we only have 2 records in this owner table at the moment, but it is just returning for us the surname and the first name for us. So let's go back and have a look at this in the SQL view. So that will go and return just those. But what happens if we wanted to return information from where an owner has just something specific? So let's go and say I wanted to just return the first name and the last name from the owner's table, and I want to do it where the let's have a look. I want to go and do it where the first name is Steve, so I only care about Steve. I just don't want to return anything else. So I'm going to return the first name, and let's also return in the phone number. So I'm going to return the first name, I'm going to return the phone number, but I only want to return it for Steve, so I'm going to say where first name is Steve. So now this command should go, and when we run it, should go and return for us just the first name attribute and the phone attribute from the owner table for only Steve. So let's run it and see if it works. Ah, perfect. So now here we can see the name Steve, because I asked for the first name, and also the phone number that is allocated to them. So let's go and save what I've just done here. So I'm going to save this query. I'm going to call this select Steve's phone number. And I can close that query down. So that is one way of creating a select query, but there is a different view we can have a look at. So let's go and open up a new one. And if we don't shut this down straight away, here we go and see the actual sort of design view of how we can go and create a query. So what I can go and do now is I can go and drag and drop this, click add, and add this owner table into my query view. So this is again more of the sort of GUI view of how we could go and run this. And what we can go and do is we can actually go and state what information we want there. So let's go and say, in this case, I wanted to see the surname, and I wanted to go and see the first name. And I also wanted the address this time. But the criteria is I only wanted it to be Steve again. So now I've created a query, a SQL query, where we've got the surname showing, the first name showing, and the address showing. but the criteria is it will only show me where the first name is Steve. So let's go and have a look at this in a SQL format. So by doing that, it has now gone and created or show me the SQL view of that. So here we've got a select command. It's saying get from the owner table the surname, get from the owner table the first name, and get from the owner table the address. So from the owner table where the owner table, well, the owner table first name is Steve. So again, that's gone and created the SQL query for me based on what I've dragged across there. And now if I go and run it, oh look, so the query has worked and it's returned the surname. It's returned the first name, it's returned the address, but it's only returned it for Steve because that is what I wanted in the first place. So that is also an additional way that you can go and create queries to run across your database. You can also include multiple tables to go and do that and drag multiple bits of information across. And if you wanted to go and see what the SQL view of what you created in the design view, all you need to do is click on SQL view and then it will show you the SQL query that you have created.